The story starts here, in the heart of the city.
We continue to follow the ongoing developments.
The student group is the first to take on such a project.
Everyone is waiting for a vote on the bill.
The team is winning at a record-breaking pace.
It's an issue for residents here and around Boston.
The story is coming up on Suffolk U News.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Suffolk U News, the news program brought to you by the Department of Communication and Journalism at Suffolk University. I'm Carla Rojo from Lowell. We are happy to be coming to you courtesy of the Boston Neighborhood Network and the Internet. It's the oldest subway system in America. It's how more than 1 million people get to and about town every day. And it's growing, changing, and even getting more expensive. And we have all the details for you here and now. First, the MBTA is proposing a 5% T-fare increase. If the bill passed, the fare increase will go into effect July 1st. Suffolk U News reporter Katie Shambo joins us live here in the studio talking about major updates on construction projects. Katie?
Right, construction projects, hours of operation, even a new way to pay your way. Commuting through the heart of the city has gotten a little harder. The Government Center MBTA station is now closed and is going to stay that way for 2 years. Suffolk U News reporter Dan Lamparello tells us more about this big project and what it means for commuters.
Shrieking trains, dim lighting, and thousands of connections made daily. But as of last Saturday, this vital Boston transportation hub has shut its doors for 2 whole years to undergo a major facelift.
It looks horrible. It's missing ceiling panels. It's dark. It's dingy. It's kind of nasty.
Not much has changed since Government Center was last renovated in the 1960s. Renderings show what the station will look like after construction, with a new glass entrance, renovated lobby, and platform. The T's general manager says the new station will be much different from the Government Center Bostonians are so familiar with.
Overall, it will be just like a totally different experience. And what I have to say is that the design was done with a lot of sustainability features in mind, but also with security and lighting and just smart, open, trying to make it as open as possible.
For the 11,000 people who travel through the station each weekday, this closure may be a bit of a headache. But for some commuters, the benefits outweigh the costs.
It's kind of inconvenient for me because I take this every day from work, but I mean, if it's going to make it a little nicer.
Government Center may not be much to look at now, but once the station is fully completed after construction, it will be state-of-the-art. The group that will benefit the most from these upgrades, the physically disabled. The T will be installing brand new elevators and escalators to make the station more accessible to riders. Dan Lamparello, Suffolk U News.
A shuttle bus will be provided during the Government Center station closure, allowing riders to gain easy access to surrounding stations. New access is the goal of the MBTA's Green Line Extension project. The T has released the first glimpse of what riders will experience. This video simulation shows an operator's view of the route that will travel through Somerville and Medford. The project is more than 4-mile extension of the T's Green Line, which will include 6 new stations. The entire project is set to be completed in 5 years with a price tag of more than $1 billion. New routes and new ways to get on them. Starting this month, some MBTA riders are using a stylish new accessory to pay their fare. The Sesame Ring is a piece of wearable technology that mimics a Charlie card pass, allowing riders to pass through the station with just a tap of bling. This ring was created by a group of MIT students last year. Currently, only 1,000 rings have been released, but the company hopes it will prove popular enough to mass produce. However you pay, starting this Friday, you can ride the T later into the night. All subway lines, the Silver Line, and 15 bus routes will stay open until 3 a.m. on weekends. Late-night riders looking to catch the last train home should arrive at their departure stations by around 2:30 in the morning. The experimental service will run for a year, but may become permanent if enough riders take advantage. Carla, I know I'll take advantage. I'm surprised it's taken this long.
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, a lot of us do so many activities till late at night, going to shows. So I'm excited that I have a ride home now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also liking that new bling ring. I think I could see myself using that.
I'm going to add it to all of my other jewelry. Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Some streets of Boston are lined with the new decor for City's Big Race. The 2014 Marathon Street banners were unveiled last week. 500 of them now hang along some major streets, featuring the slogan, "We Run Together." There are 12 different designs to see, featuring runners, police, and officers and spectators. Suffolk U News spoke with 2 of the spectators that became victims of last year's marathon bombings.
Suffolk alumna Jackie Webb and her fiancé Paul Norden were standing here, just feet away from the second explosion at the Boston Marathon. A year later, they're still on the road to recovery. I'm Jessica Bard. On the next edition of Suffolk U News, we'll bring you more on their story.
Many people are running in the marathon in support of Webb and Norton this year. We'll continue our coverage next time. A local IHOP restaurant in Revere is closed for business after an early morning fire that alarmingly didn't set off any alarms. No injuries were reported by any customers, workers, or firefighters in the accident early Monday morning. The IHOP restaurant itself will cost more than $250,000 to fix. State investigators are still looking into the heat and fire alarm systems that did not sound when the fire began in the IHOP kitchen. The Suffolk University Law School has nearly $150,000 new dollars for a new program. A grant from the U.S. Department of Urban Development will be used for the school's housing discrimination testing program. The program is for students working to become civil rights lawyers. The law students will go to different communities to make sure everyone is given a fair shot at renting homes, regardless of race, gender, and class. What do a cup of joe, beer, and wine have in common? Well, Starbucks. The famous coffee empire is turning more of its cafes into destinations for beer and wine in the evening hours. This Seattle-born corporation is testing out alcohol sales after 4 p.m. in select cities to boost sales after the morning rush hours. The program is called Starbucks Evenings, but don't get too excited. The program has not made its way to the Boston area just yet. They've got a round nose and floppy toes. Up next, the clowns are in Boston. After that, we'll march on with the family-friendly fun at the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Southie.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
So I've come up with a family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
Me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
All you have to do is step outside to feel that spring still doesn't seem to be here, especially in snowy Cape Cod. We put our Suffolk Scene queen right near the window to tell us about a bunch of fun stuff you can do indoors during this windy, cold weather. Jessica?
Yes, Carla, the winter has been terrible with this weather. It may not be snowing outside, but it's definitely windy, so let's keep it indoors and enjoy some comfort food because it is Restaurant Week. Boston Restaurant Week is here, and it has new offers and a new title. Now called Dine Out Boston, Faneuil Hall is one of Boston's many hotspots that have restaurants participating in this discounted food week. Dine Out Boston is especially exciting this time around because of all the participating restaurants like Cheers, Durgan Park, and Anthem Kitchen and Bar have set pricing options for each meal. The prices and courses depend on the restaurant you choose, so go on restaurantweekboston.com for the full list of options. Again, that website is restaurantweekboston.com. Take advantage of the special offer before it goes away on Friday the 28th. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum may be more than a century old, but that doesn't stop it from keeping up with the modern times. The museum has partnered with the Google Art Project to make all of its artwork and collectibles available to view online. The Google technology allows for touring without physically having to be in Boston or even having to pay. The Isabella Gardner Museum is only one of hundreds participating in this newly offered virtual tour. So if you want to visit a museum outside of Boston but can't fit the bill, search Google Art Project online. The Big Apple Circus is back in town. It just opened this week and will be here through much of May. You can't miss the big white tent in Government Center in the heart of Boston. Enjoy animal tricks and trapeze flips for as low as $25 and as high as $100 for premium up-close seating. It'll be worth every penny for a 2-hour show full of excitement and suspense. Get over to the box office now. All of those empty seats are waiting for you. Carla, the Big Apple Circus is one of the biggest events to come to Boston, and embarrassingly, I've never been to it, so maybe I will go this time.
You know what? it's like nerve-wracking to see the people trapezing. I mean, I was a gymnast my whole life, and I don't think I could even do that.
I can't even imagine. I would fall in an instant.
Thank you, Jessica. You're welcome. And now to our coverage of the famous Southeast St. Patrick's Day Parade. It is one of Boston's signature events, but this year, controversy leading right up to the parade looked like it might overshadow the rolling rally. Suffolk U News reporter Katie Shambo explains the controversy.
Hundreds of thousands of revelers stood along the streets of South Boston on March 16th for the 2014 St. Patrick's Day Parade.
I'm here supporting the veterans, supporting the holiday, just getting out.
I'm actually here representing the Worcester Art Museum.
I like it. It's a little crazy.
The Southeast Spectacle is one of the country's signature St. Patrick's Day parades and is also the nation's longest-running public parade. As in any year, crowds were massive and wild, but one topic took a front seat. The issue of whether mass equality should be able to march openly was the heat of debate for weeks leading up to the event. After weeks of tense negotiations between parade organizers and a gay rights group, no agreement was reached, and Mayor Marty Welsh announced the morning of that he would not be marching in the parade. While the mayor did not, many others did, including Miss Boston 2014 Megan Fuller and Suffolk University's own Caroline Lunny, Miss Massachusetts USA 2014. From our four-legged friends to performers on wheels, marchers appeared good-humored and proud of their Irish heritage. Among them, a diversity float bearing a rainbow cannon was a crowd pleaser. The marchers, the majority of whom were gay men, were marching as part of a community group, not as a gay advocacy group. And attendees were in a pickle of whether the controversy overshadowed the parade.
We didn't hear a whole lot about it down south, but yeah, I think it did.
I think it still felt pretty normal.
In the end, the issue did not overshadow the spirit and enthusiasm of the crowds and their support of the city of Boston. Katie Shambo, Suffolk U News.
Following suit in New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio set out of the March 17th parade in Manhattan due to that parade's anti-gay policy. And that does it for this edition of Suffolk U News, the news program brought to you by the Department of Communication and Journalism at Suffolk University. I'm Carla Rojo. Be sure to join in next week for the next edition of Suffolk U News from the school with the heart in the heart of the city. Until then, goodbye.